It's a good topic though, the learning cycle, but today I'm going to talk to you specifically about something which every high school and college student needs before they hit the real world. In fact, high school students need it before they hit college, and college students need it before they hit the real world. So you guys are in that category, right? Okay. It's called critical thinking. It sounds horrible, I know, but we're going to break it down and do a real-world example of what you can produce when you're able to think critically. Would that be okay for you guys today? Yes. All right, so I'll try to make this understandable, and then I'll try to demonstrate what can actually be done in the real world with a hot topic because this skill is applied. Okay, here we go. Today we'll talk about the importance of critical thinking. Okay? We'll also discuss the benefits of critical thinking, and we'll get into a little bit of how to do it. All right? So that, I don't want you to leave here not having a little bit of an idea of the skills involved to do this. Because it is a fabulous skill, critical thinking. Absolutely fabulous. And you know what? It's also unbelievably rare. Really is. We think all the time, except we don't know. We don't. That's the problem. And we're not taught how. So today, hopefully, we take one step into the world of critical thinking, and if you're interested in that kind of thing, you will then do your own research and learn how. Because if you can learn how to do this, you can then do what I'm doing. Let me tell you a bit about what I am doing, or what I've done. I started my first job after university, next door, in one of the buildings next door. It's an old heritage building now. They haven't torn it down because it's just that old and that good. But that's where I started my first job in Penang, and this is a long time ago, before you were born, not you two. Yeah. Before you were born, I started my first job after university, next door. It didn't even pay me enough to pay for my car loan. And the car loan in those days, the car is very small, I know, so the car loan wasn't that great, but it pretty much consumed my entire salary. So, my parents, having invested, and I was lucky enough to have parents who could invest in my education overseas to the tune of, I don't know how many, whatever, right? It costs a lot of money to study overseas. So when I came back, and I wasn't even making a profit, how ridiculous was that? And I knew it was ridiculous, but I also knew another thing. I knew that I had to learn some skills, because without certain skills that are not taught in school, you're not going to make your way in the real world very quickly. And I also realized that it's a mindset that can change everything. A mindset. In other words, you have control over it, right? You have control over your mindset, and I realized that it's the mindset that will get me from A to B and all the way to Z, if I wanted it. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay. So I realized that. Why? Because I wasn't making much money, so I realized I had to believe in something. And I decided to believe in a change of mindset. So I changed my mindset now. Now the mindset is nothing fantastic. I didn't go to psychology school or whatever to learn this mindset. The mindset was simply based on need and greed. The need was more money. The greed also more money. Very basic, okay? I decided that I'm going to learn what I can learn in this job, but when the opportunity comes up, I will make a switch. And in my mind, my plan was to then go to KL and then eventually Singapore. That was just my plan. I didn't have the steps other than, I knew that I could take a bus and go up. But that was my plan in terms of career. To go to KL and go to Singapore. And one more thing. To double my salary with every single job move. That was my mindset. Double it with every single job move.
Wow.
It happened. Within the space of 2.5 years, I reached Singapore, and so I did some time in Penang, not very long, about a year, and I did about a year and a half in KL, and Then I moved to Singapore, and when I got to Singapore, it wasn't just double and then double. It was more than what I had planned for. And then it all came crashing down because I aimed too high. It all came crashing down, and you know what? I learned something. And that is, I needed to pick up the skills. You know, I knew I needed to pick up the skills, but along the way, I went so fast that I thought that I was good. I thought that I was good. And it was good, of course. But when the moment you think you're good, you die. I guarantee you. I'm a public speaker, and I have been a paid public speaker for 20 years. I have about 6,000 paid hours on stage. Public speaking has made me millions. I make no apologies for telling you that. But my mindset now, I've added one more thing, and that is, I'm only as good as my next speech. That's all. I'm only as good as my next one. I'm not as good as my last one. My last one, I will review the video and I will tear it to bits. And then tell myself, okay, next one, I'm only as good as my next one. It's mindset. No one's going to force you to believe these things, okay? So today, I'm going to talk about critical thinking. And critical thinking is critical to having the right mindset. And when I say the right mindset, it is the mindset of your choosing, okay? You don't have to have my mindset. You don't have to have anyone else's mindset. The mindset of your choosing, critical thinking is crucial. And it will get you a lot of, it will make you a lot of money. I can't guarantee that, but from my own experience, absolutely. Okay? I was in Spain a few years ago, and I love Spain. I love Spain because Spain, to me, has the best food in the world. And I live in Georgetown. In Georgetown, the food is fantastic. As we know, in Malaysia, Penang has the reputation for having the best food, right?
Yes.
Spain takes it to a whole, not just a whole different level, they are on a different planet. Unbelievable. But anyway, I was in Spain, and I was with my ex. I have many exes because I have failed at every relationship I have tried. Every single one failed. However, 30 years of relationship, 30 years. 3 decades. And guess what? Failed at all of them. And you know what? I know how I feel about it now? That I am so unbelievably valuable. Because I know all the shit that goes down. You understand what I'm saying? Mindset, okay? Mindset. So I was in Spain, and in Spain I was with my ex, and she's vegetarian. And in Spain, they haven't got a clue what the word means. You say vegetarian to them, and they don't even know the word exists. In other words, you're not going to find a dish that's vegetarian in Spain. So we had to ask for things like salad. And of course, because we couldn't speak Spanish and they can't speak English, we had to use the Spanish word, which we eventually found out was very similar to the English word, salada. Right? So, salada. So, we get salada. Now, the first day we were there for 3 weeks. For me, okay, I eat anything, right? But for her, it has to be vegetables. So, we ordered salada. Fine. The salad came. And guess what? There's pork in the salad. There's pork. Now, she doesn't eat meat. Never mind pork. She just doesn't eat meat. And then pork. Lucky worse, right? You know why there's pork in the salad? Because in Spain, pork is a vegetable.
Oh.
Pork is a vegetable. That's it. That's Spain for you. And I thought, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But you know what? I sat back and I realized there's something to learn here. And that is, every culture conditions their people. Conditions. They tell them this is the truth. Conditions. And you know what? If you condition the culture in that way, eventually people will say, yeah, what's the problem? It's a vegetable, what? You know what I mean? Our conditioning, should you be aware that you are conditioned, our conditioning is not necessarily the same as other people's conditioning. In other words, you're going to need something in your head to be able to decide what is real and what is true. Why? Because your condition, well, in Spain their conditioning has told them the pork is a vegetable. And so they serve it as a vegetable with a salad. What equivalent do we have here? That's my question. Do we have any equivalent here? Obviously pork is not a vegetable to us, you know. But there might be other things which we believe to be absolutely true, but you know what? It may not be. And there is one way to determine what is and what isn't. That's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're going to talk about. The filter that is your mind that is able to tell you, if you process it properly, it's able to tell you what is real and what isn't. What is simply someone's opinion and what is based on something real. It's able to tell you whether it's the wind that blows the leaves or whether it's the tree trunk that doesn't move regardless of the wind. Okay, so you'll be able to, and if you have this skill, then you can do the kind of stuff that I did. Alright, and produce the kind of results that I did in whatever area you choose. Okay. So, like I said, later I'll give you one of these, a real example. I've got the topic, by the way, just so that this is called marketing. Okay? So I'm going to talk to you about it later, but I'll tell you what it is now. You want to know what it is? Hot topic, man. How many of you would like to know what you're currently doing wrong in this area? I can tell, yeah, no, and see, there's someone who, the first step to making progress and making changes is honesty, self-awareness and honesty. Thank you very much. So I will reveal to you everything I know. Well, given the time constraint, I'll reveal to you everything I know and what the Real Men Forum has discussed and decided the mistakes that boys make. Actually, they talked about the mistakes that men make. Would you like to know the mistakes that men make? Yeah, because you guys are moving into becoming men, so you want to know the mistakes that men make. It's actually the mistakes that men make are actually boys' mistakes. But the men bodola, they don't know it's boys' mistakes. Okay? The girls all know this, but girls, I will allow you to sit during the presentation, fine. You don't have to leave. There will be some. I will tell it straight. I will tell it straight. It will not be politically correct. I mean, it's not politically wrong, but I will not make it so that it sounds politically correct. If it is this way, it is this way. Why? Critical thinking. Okay. If we remove critical thinking and we just follow everybody's rules on what is correct, 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 guess what? We will arrive at where we are today as a nation. True or not? Okay. Mistakes that boys make. So then what is critical thinking? Now, critical thinking is such a horrible sounding thing to me. I hate the sound of it, right? But critical thinking, a very quick definition is this. It's thinking, obviously, but thinking clearly and rationally. We understand the meaning of these two words? Okay? Clarity and rationale. How often are you so clear on something that you know absolutely what to do, even without planning it? That's the kind of clarity we're talking about. That you're so clear on an issue that you don't even need to map it out. You know exactly what needs doing. That's the kind of clarity we're talking about. It's also the quality that makes a man a man. Clarity. Women, do you want to eventually be with a man who knows what the future will be and knows how to get there. Yeah. Obviously, there are problems along the way, right? But you'd rather be with that kind of man than the kind of man that goes, darling, what shall we eat tonight? You think he can plan the future for you?
No.
Unbelievable. Can't even plan the next meal for you when plan the future tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah. June's gonna take over, by the way, halfway through. She's got plenty to say on this one. So, to think clearly and rationally about what to do, not just what to do, also what to believe. Wow. People will call this dangerous. I call it basic. Okay? What you do with it, your business, and don't come looking to me if you get in trouble. Really? Seriously? No, it's not that I don't want trouble. I mean, I don't want trouble. But I do what I have to do. You do what you have to do. Okay? So, why? Why even bother to think? Why even bother to be clear or rational about something? You know? Because not all things in life require clarity and rationality. You know, you want to, what to eat tonight, you don't need necessarily clarity and rationality to map out every detail of the meal. Just go to the hawker center and buy and eat something like it's okay, you know. You know, when girls are really good at going to the shopping center with the idea of bringing back lettuce, tomatoes, all the groceries, but come back with a Prada handbag. Clearly, there was a missing step in terms of rationality. Clearly.
Always happens.
Sorry, girls. It always happens. I'm teasing you, girls. It never happens, does it?
Not me.
It always happens. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, so there are many, many examples of situations where you don't need to think critically. The question is, why would you think critically? Well, maybe as the presentation goes along, we'll see the whys. Okay. Oh, never mind about going along. Here's the reason why. Because we are surrounded. That's my answer to you. If you ask me, why do we need to think critically? My answer is because we are surrounded. Surrounded by what? Are you afraid of girls? No. I'm talking about life in general. Why do we need to think critically for our life in general? Because we're surrounded. Guess what we're surrounded by? We're surrounded by options and choices, but in the respect that we need to really think critically, it's because we're surrounded by something much more sinister than that. We're surrounded by stupidity.
Oh.
We're surrounded by conditioning. We're surrounded by being told what is right for you. I mean, I'm not saying everything that you are told is wrong, you know. I'm saying that if you just believe it without filtering it, you might be in trouble now one day. You go, really, life is like that? And then you're 60 years old. Oh, really, life is like that? I thought it was, my mother told me it's like this. Wrong. Can mothers be wrong? No. Of course they can be. My mom's always wrong. Especially when I show her a slide presentation like this. Because we're surrounded by pressure to be this and this only. You understand what I'm saying? We're surrounded by pressure. Your parents probably, very likely, why? Because this is our culture. Very likely your parents gave you a limited choice of career. That means, okay, you can choose from, you know, well, in my time, it was doctor, lawyer, teacher, engineer, you know what I mean? Choose from those careers. Want to be dancer, artist, musician, public speaker, what? You know what I'm saying? We are surrounded by people who want us to, I don't know, be this way. But you know what? You may not be this way. Some people might be, okay? Some people might be. That's absolutely fine, if that's you. Some of you are not like that. Some of you are just you. Some of you are just you. And you've been told you do not have the power to make that choice to be you. You've been told that. I was told that. You don't have the power to make that choice. You must be like this. See your cousins like that. You see that family, the son also successful. Like, wow, all these kind of things. You know? Not just your mom, your aunties will tell you that every everybody will tell you that. Because we're surrounded. Now, when I say stupidity, I don't mean people are stupid. I mean, obviously, not everyone is smart. But what I mean is ideas that are ridiculous when applied to you. Some ideas are ridiculous when applied to you. Okay? Some ideas are ridiculous when applied to you. So that's what I mean by stupidity. Stupid ideas. If you don't fight for your survival, you will drown in the sea of stupid ideas. You know, if you're going to die, you want to drown in the sea of stupid ideas, or you want to die spectacularly trying and living your life?
Second
You know?
one.
Yeah. So this is the choice. Okay. That. How? How do you think critically? Very quickly. There are three things. Question everything. Authority hates this message, which is one reason, perhaps, why we're not really taught to think critically in school. Because school is authority, man. School is sponsored by authority, man. And parents, you know, also want school to teach you certain things, but not necessarily to question everything. Now, when I say question everything, you choose how far you want to go with this. That's your choice, not my business. For me personally, I question everything. So I grew up going to church, and I started questioning that. And you know the question I asked? Really, I've got God, is it? This is the question. Everyone's in shock. Everyone says, yes, we must question. We must question. And so what do they question? They question this, they question this, they question this. Then I go, but hang on. You are assuming that there is a God. Now that's me, okay? I'm not saying that you have to do that. That's me. I'm comfortable asking that question. I'm comfortable asking questions like, okay, so if there's a God, then where was he when the airplane went down? Just a simple question. So I'm comfortable asking those questions. No one in my circle of friends really is comfortable hearing those questions. That's okay. I ask them. I'm not going to convert anybody, it's just me. Okay? But what I mean is, you have to decide what you're going to question. But I'm planting the seed in your head now that questioning everything is actually healthy. Because it's your life. Isn't it? I don't know, maybe you're living someone else's life. That's your business now. So you question everything. Secondly, you reflect. Now reflection is just thinking time. Quiet thinking time. Thinking about the evidence. Thinking about your experience. Thinking. This is where you learn. You don't learn by doing, you know. You learn by reflecting after you do. So that means you give the speech, right? You give a speech, whatever, okay? You don't learn while you're giving your speech, no. That's not when you learn. You go back, and you watch the video, and you go, oh my God, that was horrible. And then you reflect on it, and then you make the corrections. Then you go, I have to change this, I have to change this, I have to change this, I have to change this. That's how you do that. So reflection is very important. Because eventually you will produce your opinion. And I call it an opinion because it is personal. It is not a doctrine. It is not a rule for everybody. It is simply your opinion. Now, does this imply that opinions are based on something real? You've questioned it. You've looked at the evidence. And now you form an opinion. Does it imply that opinions are based on something real? It does imply. But you know what? The word opinion nowadays means what? Means I tembak, that's my opinion. You know? Thank you, Facebook, for that. I tembak, that's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Well, you are, but I'm also entitled not to believe you. I'm perfectly entitled to put your opinion through my filter and go, oh, your opinion allows you. I'm entitled to do that. Because it's my filter. It's my questions, it's my reflection, and I then formulate something based on something. Rather than based on every opinion that flies by in the wind. Oh, that's my opinion, that's not your opinion. No. It's just someone posted on Facebook some quote and wow, you like it. And suddenly it becomes your opinion. No, it's not. Because you haven't applied critical thinking to it. Okay. Yeah, how come my slides are so nice? When you're thinking and asking, right? These are things to do. Evaluate the evidence. That should go without saying, but I'm saying it anyway. So you evaluate the evidence that's presented to you. All right? And I will show you how that's done in the example in a moment. And number two, put aside, if you can, the conditioning. What society has told you is right. Try to just put those things aside and evaluate what evidence you have. That's actual critical thinking. All right? Your parents may not like you for it, but you know what? I think they will respect you one day if you do this. They may not like you now because you're questioning them, I mean, you don't have to question them, but I suggest that's a good place to start. So put aside conditioning. And there's some things to beware of as well. Beware of jumping to conclusions. If you do not have a reasonable conclusion to jump to, don't jump. Just stop at whatever you are and then admit that, look, the evidence is this, this, and this. I can't quite say what the conclusion is, but I'm working on it. It's okay, life is like that. Okay? So beware of jumping to conclusions. And another big one, and I learned this in high school when I was overseas. I wrote essays, right, for English class, and at the end of the essay I would say, so we all must be, therefore we must be good people, that kind of thing. And we do that here in our speeches, right? At the end of the speech it's like, so, reach for the stars, or, be good people, or whatever. And my teacher wrote down, stop moralizing. I didn't even know what she meant. Now I know. Moralizing. Moralizing is simply a reflection of your conditioning. Moralizing means you're not evaluating the evidence. It means you're simply pulling from your conditioning what you've been told we should do and then applying it. So that's not critical thinking, right? You guys follow me? That's not critical thinking. Moralizations, be careful. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with morals. I'm saying if you talk about critical thinking, you must try to avoid these things so that you can evaluate what is true based on the evidence that you have. Okay. With this topic? Okay, so you can forget about critical thinking for now, but I'm going to show you what critical thinking can produce in the real world. So what we've done is I've created a forum and we get together. When I say we, I mean a variety of men and women, mostly men, because the forum is set up to help men. But I want some women in the group when we have our discussions. Why? Because perspective is important. So if the men just sit and talk, we might all agree on something, but we might agree on something that is not true, So it's nice to get the women to say, hey, hang on, guys, and when you say this or when you do this, we don't feel attracted to you or whatever. The men might think, oh yeah, we give roses, this will generate attraction. And the women are going, hang on, it's not. So we need that calibration. Very important. So it is a range of experience. I have young people in there. When I say young, they're in their 20s. They've started work and everything. They're in their 20s. And some in their 30s who've had maybe 10 years or more of relationship experience. And I don't mean you have a crush, that's not relationship. I mean being boyfriend, girlfriend, living together, whatever it happens to be, marriage, whatever. I mean serious stuff. And then we have those 20 years in relationship who have failed, and you have guys like me, 30 years in relationship, and all relationships have failed. Okay? In other words, we are very valuable. To a discussion like this, we are very, very valuable. Done. Okay, so the forum is interesting that way. I don't mean to demean anyone else, but what I mean is the forum is really interesting that way. So the forum is a social experiment. Just very quickly about the forum. It's a social experiment, and we discuss things, and the purpose is to help men understand what it means.
You're real man.
Yes. And the reason I started it is because in Singapore for 20 years, and now in Georgetown, in Penang for 3 years, I walk around the streets, and I don't get too much of a sense of masculinity. I just don't feel it, I don't know, where are the men? Everybody's soft. Now, it's okay to be soft. You can be anything you want, it's fine. But what I mean is masculinity, and when I say masculinity, I mean people with purpose, men with purpose and vision. And number two, men who are congruent. Congruency means how they feel, how they act, and what they say are all lined up. Perfectly aligned. You see what I'm saying? Incongruency is the man feels desires, but he will behave in a different way. And then he will say other things. It's not lined up, man. This is incongruent. In fact, incongruency, another word for that, is creepy. Seriously. A man wants, there's a man desires a woman, for example, but he behaves in a way like, oh, he's the gentleman. Treat women nicely. But actually desire her. That's not congruent. It's just not. And you know what, guys? Some women are fooled some of the time, but not all of them. The real women are not fooled. And eventually, it will come back to haunt you, and we will see. We will see for real. Huh? Okay, here we go. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Who put that? Jim, did you put that slide in there?
No.
Okay, that's the forum's logo. Yeah, it stands for what the forum, right? Okay, mistakes men make to get them dumped or rejected. Now, this is designed to address or to speak to men or boys who are in the dating or relationship game. Not ones who haven't started. You haven't started? Please listen. Why? I want you to learn every mistake that the guys have made and go out and make the same mistakes, please. Then you can come to the forum and say all the experiences and we'll learn from you. Yeah, very valuable. These mistakes are perfectly fine to make, but I'm talking about them because sometimes when you're in the dating or relationship game, you repeat the same mistake over and over and over. The relationship gets worse and worse and worse, and you don't know why. This is who this information is for. So if this is you in the future, you can listen. If this is you in the present, you better listen. If this is never going to be you, I will wake you up when they end, when I'm finished, okay? I'm going to share with you the 3 big mistakes. There's many, men make many, many mistakes when they're doing this. I'll share with you 3, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share with you a big one. Okay. I will share with you a bigger one. And finally, I'll share with you
The biggest one.
the biggest one. For those of you who are wondering, about your speech project next time, your presentation project, you want to organize your speech, this is how you organize your speech. 3 points. Big, bigger, biggest. Okay? Of course, you have to fill in with different words though. Right. First, big one. Thinking, this is the men, thinking that being nice is good enough. Wow. Being nice. Has anyone been told by their mothers that they have to be nice to women? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Honesty is the absolute requirement in the forum. People who go to the forum have left the forum after a few minutes. Why? Because they're not prepared to actually answer the very first question, which to me is the honesty test. I will ask them a difficult and personal question, and then they have to answer it. If they're not prepared to answer that, what is the point of discussing it? We don't want to discuss theory. We don't want to discuss, what if. We want to discuss experience. So honesty, even here, is going to get you a long way. Being nice is thinking that being nice is good enough. That is the first mistake. It's a huge one. How many of you guys have been nice to a girl? Yeah. And how many of you thought that being nice is the way to attract the girl? Yeah. Okay, girls, look around, because these guys are prepared to move to the next level. They now rise to the top of the eligible list. Okay? Some of them will drop off the list, but there might be 1 or 2 who reach the top. Being nice is good enough, we're told all the time now. What does being nice look like? Now girls, you will recognize, guys, you will also recognize this. Sometimes being nice looks like this. Yes, absolutely. And I know it's very entertaining to hear it, but you might be thinking, hey, is this guy nuts or what? This is the way we're supposed to be. It's the way you were conditioned to think you're supposed to be. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is the way you're conditioned. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be nice to a girl. I am not saying that. I'm saying that thinking that being nice is enough. Enough to what? Enough to attract her. You know, enough to prove that you are a man. It's not enough, guys. It's simply not enough. So please continue to be nice, but I'm going to actually go a little bit deeper into the psychology of being nice, and you will see why nice isn't. You'll see why nice is a mistake. Okay? You want to see why nice is a mistake?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to see why being the gentleman is a mistake? Yes. Okay? You can be the gentleman. All right? You can open the doors. It's fine. You can bring the group of girls water at Starbucks. It's okay, you know. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to dissect that, and you might see that there are some times where because you've applied the filter in your head, you realize that being nice is a mistake. Okay? And you know what, girls, you might be thinking, wow, this guy is very bad. You're right, I'm very bad. Girls, I'm saying this because it's true. Not because it's nice to hear. I'm saying it because it's true. That's all. If it's not true, I won't say it. Fair enough, you guys got me on that? Yeah, if it's not true, I will not say it. I'm saying it because it's true. And you know what? I think if you get the real man one day, girls, the real man who understands that these things are a mistake, but he puts his time and effort into other more important things, like the vision for your family, you know, being decisive so that you don't have to make all the decisions, having a plan so that you can get to A, to B, to C, and eventually to Z. When you get that kind of man, he will not be bothered about these things, you know. But you get men who are bothered about these things, you're getting a boy. It's okay, you know, I was a boy, but we grow, right? We grow. But sometimes we repeat. This I call the wash cycle, you know? Laundry, wash cycle. We wash you until you learn your lesson, and then you can get out. So guys, I've been in here many years.
Yeah.
That's why my hair all gone. So being the gentleman. There's another thing that men do that is nice, that can be wrong, and we'll talk about how it's wrong in a minute. That's this.
Rescue her.
Yeah. How many guys, as a natural instinct, when the girl needs help, you come running? Yeah. And you know what? You come running because you're a nice guy. Thank you. No, thank you. Because you're a nice guy. And you know what I found? I found that when I asked a group of, different groups, a total of about 30 women. Now this is not statistically relevant, but it's interesting. And this is local women of different ages and experiences and failures in relationships, different levels. I asked all of them. Except for one. Every single one of those women, when I asked them, given the choice of 3 types of guys, which one would you be instantly attracted to? The question was, which one would you be instantly attracted to? Nice guy, neutral guy, bad boy.
Bad boy.
Absolutely bad boy. The women don't just say bad boy, they had to ask bad boy. One woman put up her hand for a nice guy. When she saw all the other women, she said, can I change my mind? We won't go into necessarily the reasons why, but it's interesting that is the automatic reaction. And there's a reason why. Now guys, don't get confused, because girls, I know you understand what it means, but guys don't understand that. Because girls, you understand what bad boy means. But guys, when they think of bad boy, they think, oh, that means I can slap the girl now. You know, I can be cruel to her, I can be horrible. No, that's not what it means.
It's worst guy.
Yeah, that's a jerk. Yeah, that's not a bad boy. When the girls say bad boy, that's not what it means. And when the girls say, oh yeah, you know, of course I like a nice guy. Guys are thinking, oh, gentleman, I'll rescue. That's not what it means. Yeah, just not what it means. So, you know, women and men, we have different minds and we have different meanings to the same term. So, guys, don't worry about changing women. You adjust your mindset and then you will progress faster. Okay. Right. So you can go and find out about what these things mean. But this is another way that men are nice. They rescue. Open the door. Carry the shopping. Which is absolutely fine if you understand what you're doing. Now here's one that is not fine. Huh? Carry the girlfriend's handbag. And girls, you might be thinking, damn it, I love it when he carries my handbag.
After some of the marriage though.
And yeah, in the marriage as well. I'm not gonna go there. You love it when he carries your handbag. But you know what? It's a problem, guys. Carrying the girl's handbag, and of course I'm making a joke of it, but there is some truth to what I'm saying. Carrying the girl's handbag is the beginning of the end.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I agree.
It is. And there's a reason why. There's a psychological reason why it's the beginning of the end. Okay, you carry the handbag like so, 1 kg, 1.5 kg of physical burden that you relieve from her. But guess what? She's made you carry it, or your mother's voice has made you carry it. Okay, the conditioning has made you carry it. And what it says is, you've given up on being a man. Which means, girls, your guy has given up on being masculine, which is not going to be good for an eternal relationship.
Yes.
Sometimes the guy is bullied into it. Is that going to be good for an eternal relationship? No. It might be thrilling now. But when your man has to stand his ground because he believes in this and this and this, you think that boy will be able to stand his ground when he can't even say, no, you carry your handbag, I'll take care of other things. Yeah? You carry your handbag for what? So that you can have the vision for the family and lead the family, is it? Girls, if you want to lead the family, go ahead. But I'm saying nature has programmed us in such a way that it feels good when the man leads. It feels good.
Yes.
And when the woman leads, it doesn't feel so good. I don't know why.
Yes.
It is not a comment on anything. I'm simply saying from my observation of nature, women feel good when the man takes the lead.
Yes.
So guys, never ever ask your girl this question. So what shall we do? Why? Because she's not your mother. If you're a boy, you ask your mother. But you're a man. Don't ask your girlfriend or wife. Why? Because what you are saying psychologically, the dynamic of what you're saying is, you're my mother, I'm going to rely on you to make this decision for us. You want your man to be, okay, here's the choice now. Girls, would you choose the man who relies on you for decisions, or the man who assesses the situation, plans the solution, executes, all done before breakfast?
Second
Which one do you want?
Second.
Okay, so this is unanimous. Huh? So please, when don't come and say, you talk about women. No, I'm talking about what's real. Okay? And you make the choices. I'm not telling you to do this or that. You make the choices. Here's the problem with being nice, or thinking that nice is enough. Being nice is often two things. It can be three things, but it's often two. Fear and agenda based. The third thing is you're simply being nice because you are a wholesome person, and that you have no fear or agenda. But most of the time, we have either fear or an agenda to satisfy, and that's why we're nice. Let me tell you what I mean. So someone important comes in, and you are nice to them. You smile. Your smile is bigger than usual. The handshake is also very good. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just saying that this is how we are as a society. This is what we do. And you're nice to them because they are maybe of higher status or whatever. Is that real? Is it real that you are extra nice to them? You don't know them. It's okay to be nice to them, but just understand your motivation. Fear-based means you are afraid of something happening if you are not nice. What do you think that might be? Guys, if you approach a girl and you are nice to her, and you're the gentleman and you rescue her, you are afraid of something happening. What might that be? Friend zone law, rejection law, right? These are real fears, girls. Please, you can laugh, but these are real fears for guys. To be rejected, to get the no. By the way, if you get into sales, same deal. You're nice to the client, but you go back, you're horrible to your colleague. Why? Your colleague is human as well. You know? Why? Because you're afraid of losing the deal. Your colleague, so what? Just join, isn't it? People not nice to you, is it?
I didn't say.
You didn't say anything. I'm just making it up. So it might be fear-based. So you are nice because you are afraid of the rejection. So we're nice to people, not because we know them, but because we're afraid of them rejecting us. That's a possibility. You guys follow me?
Yes.
Okay? So if that is what's driving you, then that is not good. That will not sustain in a relationship if your niceness is based on the fear. Because one day you will know the girl so well that you're not afraid anymore. And you call her all kinds of horrible things because you're not afraid. So what happened to the nice guy? He didn't actually exist. It was simply you being afraid, and that led to the niceness. But it's not real. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Agenda-based. If you're in sales, I want the deal. Now, it's okay to want the deal. That's your job. It's okay. You want the deal. But if that is what comes out driving you, if you have no concern, in terms of priorities, you have no concern or very low concern for whether the client gets good value for what they're paying for. Because ultimately, the client must get good value, not you just make money, right? They must get good value. But if your agenda is to just simply make the deal, regardless of whether the client gets good value, do you think that they will sense that coming from you? Sure they will. They sense it, huh? They can smell it, huh? They can smell the fear, they can smell the agenda. If their eyes are open, they can. And they will run away, they'll get a deal from somebody else. This is when you do not become liked anymore. Secretly, they might still smile, just to show your face, but they give the deal to somebody else. It will happen. If you are real, you might lose some, you might win some, but at the end of the day, you will have been true to the one person that you absolutely must be true to, and it's not your mom. It's you. Okay. Fear and agenda-based. Wow. Here's another agenda. I'm nice to you. Why? Because I need, and I'm talking about for public speakers, we are nice to the audience because we want the audience to like us, right? That's agenda. That's an agenda. You know what that agenda really creates? Stage fright. Because I'm afraid of being rejected, so it creates stage fright. If I don't care, if I really do not care whether you like me or not, there's no stage fright now. I can tell you now, I have no stage fright. I mean, stage fright is normal, of course. But it concerns me not what you think of me, really. Which is a brilliant place to be. I don't mean in an attitude kind of way, I don't mean, I don't care. No, of course, I'm completely aware of what you are thinking of me. I'm completely aware. But it's inconsequential to me and my delivery. It's absolutely inconsequential. And because it's inconsequential, I am myself. When I'm delivering, I'm myself completely. You're getting the real deal. Is that better than, yeah, better than some kind of facade? Yeah. Okay. Here's the second big mistake. Guys, we are too easily impressed. Too easily impressed, huh? Too easily impressed, huh? It's bad. You know why? Because it means a few things. Huh? It means, first of all, that you may have done this, overvalued her. I'm talking about, a guy and a girl, okay? You like a girl, but you're too easily impressed by her. So you become the ultra gentleman and all this kind of stuff, all this behavior. Why? Because you're too easily impressed. Why? Because you've overvalued her. Now, I'm not suggesting that you undervalue anybody. I'm suggesting that you try to pin the value on reality. Overvaluing the girl, huh? Why? Because she's pretty. Hey, when she hits 30 and goes beyond 30, the looks change quite drastically, So now, June, huh? if anyone questions your value, and says that, and suggests that your value will be less in the future, you just tell them what. You don't have to explain anything to them. Do not fight with them. Just say, it's okay. You better enjoy me now. Yeah, that's right. Very good. The thing is, right, the value actually increases with time. Why? Because for myself, for example, okay, I'll use myself as an illustration, okay? Let's say I like a girl. Now, I'm 50. Slap you up. I am 50, and so I am here, okay? Let's say in terms of life experience that goes with age, I'm here. And let's say I like a girl, and the girl might be quite a bit younger than me. Let's say, for illustration's sake, she's 13. Okay, so it's not June, but it's somebody else. This somebody else I like. June I love, you see. Hello, your mother told you not to love, is it? God, people love love. I mean, we live once, right? Love, yeah. Okay, so I'm 50, and let's say I like a girl who is 30, a woman who is 30. Now, age gap 20 years, that's pretty big. In terms of value of life experience, I've got 20 years more than her, which is huge. Especially because these last 20 years are a lot of hell, Because that's when I got deeper and deeper into a relationship, and then it failed. So I see myself as being very valuable. Her, not so. I'm not demeaning anybody, but I'm also not saying just because she's a woman doesn't mean you have to value her, or in this case, overvalue her. Of course you have to value her, but you don't overvalue her. Just like you don't overvalue yourself. Okay? So here and here. But what happened? Oh, by the way, this situation, is this quite common these days? You see 50-year-old guys, chasing after about 30 or whatever, sometimes younger, right? Yeah. So how many of you are being chased by 50-year-old guys? Gentlemen, do not put up your hands up. That's a different forum altogether. It's a good forum, but it's a different one. So here's the gap. By the way, what time is it now? Oh, it's time! Okay. I'll finish soon. Okay, so here's the gap. But what happens is, the guy often will... Oh, you're so nice and pretty. Yeah, that's what will happen. He loses what? A sense of his own value. Because she's pretty. Girls, do you know how powerful you are? Yes. From age... because of the beauty thing, from age, I don't know, it varies from culture to culture, but let's say age 15, 16, 17. From that age, you already, maybe even younger, you already reach in terms of your knowledge as well as your abilities, you reach the peak of your power. You can attract powerful men. You can attract men who have been in the professional world for years. You can. You are that powerful. Men, I'm sorry. You have to wait till 30, maybe beyond 30 before you, in fact 40 and beyond 40 before you reach the peak of your power. But once you reach the peak of your power, once you reach 40 plus, and oh my God, when you hit 50, it's unbelievable. Guys, you have something to look forward to. Unbelievable. Snap finger, you get what you want. I'm not saying what it is you want. I'm saying when you know what you want and you have reached the peak of your power around that age, it's that easy. It really is. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic place to be for men. Women experience also will mean that you are valuable too. But don't rely on the looks when you get older enough. You rely on other things. So, earn men's respect, rely on other things. Okay. And finally, not knowing what to do. Now, not knowing what to do is not actually a thing, It's many things. Men make mistakes because they don't know what to do. here are some areas, here are some things they don't know what to do. They try too hard to please the woman. And you know, we sort of heard about this earlier, being nice gentlemen, and you know, try too hard to please. Why do you please? You know, you gotta ask yourself, why are you pleasing? Why are you pleasing? It's okay to please somebody, but ask yourself, why? Is it because you feel small and you want that person to smile at you so you can feel validated? That's what happens, right? If she doesn't smile at you, you feel hurt. Why? Because your self-worth is so small. Work on it, huh? Work on your self-worth so that you can do what you need to do, you can please